Hey, what is up, you guys? Sith Lord here, and today we are talking the ending to Star Wars The Last Jedi, and wow, there's so much to talk about, really. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the ending of the Battle of Crate, where the Resistance is just out of options. They do not know what to do because the First Order has this incredible blast cannon resembling the Death Star. And the First Order, they keep going back to the Death Star, like it keeps going back. But as we think that the Resistance has lost all hope, we see Luke Skywalker step down through the doors, and he has this just heart-touching moment with Leia, where they talk, and it feels so reminiscent of Return of the Jedi that, I mean, I honestly teared up in the theater, like, and when he steps out on the battlefield, you get this feeling of, okay, this really about to happen? And that is the moment when Kylo says, release everything we have on that man, and we see the ATM-6s lay fire into Luke, and all you see is red dust and smoke in the air. That's all you see, and you're thinking, did they just off him just like that? Or you're thinking, is he using the Force to deflect all them shots? Like, you're thinking so much in that moment. And then out of nowhere, like, this had my audience in theater going crazy. He steps out of the smoke and gives this one single dust off of his shoulder, and that is when the the quote unquote fight begins. Kylo says, "Get me a shuttle down there," and when Kylo steps out to meet Luke on the field, it's just one of the most intense moments in Star Wars. The apprentice is about to meet the master on the field, and you're just thinking, what is going to happen in this moment? When the actual fight happens, Kylo ignites a saber. Luke ignites the blue saber, which I will get to this in a moment, where the moments the audience did not see coming, and we did not even notice. But he ignites his blue saber that was just recently destroyed, and the odd thing is, and what I love about this is there is no contact in this fight whatsoever. Kylo comes at him with uh, the first strike. He misses because Luke ducks, or he doesn't duck. He kind of pulls a Neo from the Matrix, and it just Luke says, "If you strike me down in anger, I will always be with you." That line, it just sent chills down me. And Kylo goes in for that final strike and goes right through Luke. And the look on Kylo's face, he's puzzled because he doesn't know what's happening. He's thinking, well, I just went through all these force projections. And that is the moment when he just stabs Luke right through the chest, and it goes right through him. And that's when Luke gives the famous line, "I'll see you around, kid," and disappears just like that. And it cuts to the scene of him on Octu. He him collapsing onto the rock he was levitating on, and I honestly thought that was the greatest way to use the Force. Like, him to do the same thing, but better than Snoke did. Like, it truly was one of the best uses of the Force I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. And I actually want to talk about his death because, yes, he is technically dead, but he is not gone. He will be there in the Force. He will be a Force ghost in number 9. And just that scene where he transcends into the Force. You see his cloak fly off into the distance. It it was a magical moment. Now let's move into Rey's part in this. After Luke gives the Resistance enough time to make it out of the base, they run into some trouble because the back entrance of the base is covered in boulders. But that is when you see Rey use the actual Force strongly this time, and move the boulders, and it's a beautiful scene. And that is when we actually see that she takes the books. We thought that maybe Luke had burned all of them, but no, we actually see when Finn is cleaning the Millennium Falcon that he opens one of the drawers, and there are the books. So we do know that Rey will be learning from the books. I don't know what, but we do know that they are with her now. And now this is when she gives the really good line with Leia, where she asks, "Well, what are we going to do now? Now that we don't have Luke physically with us?" And Leia gives the line that we have all we need right now. We have all we need. And indicating that Rey is the one who can take the reins finally and lead this new rebellion, which they are the rebellion again, and I love that. They're no longer this resistance renegade group just out there getting by. They're actually the rebellion again, and I love that. Now this is going to lead me into the next sequence, which is Broom Kid, and this is actually one of the most notes I've taken on this. We're actually finally taken to a scene at Canto Bight where we see a group of young slaves idolizing and sharing tales of Luke Skywalker and the legends of Luke Skywalker. And that scene alone, it brought me back to a kid. That's what me and my friends used to do. Tell tales of Luke Skywalker and the Jedi and what it would have been like, and just the missions he went on. But anyways, when suddenly their master just comes shouting through the door, telling them to get back to work, as we finally see one of the boys go outside and summon a broom with the Force. After he's done sweeping, he looks into the sky, giving a beautiful shot at the broom, where when he's holding it, it looks just like a lightsaber. And when that shot happens, you get this feeling that the rebellion has just began again, and there are other Force users out there, including this young boy, who many are referring to him as Broom Kid, which even myself, I hope we get his name. I hope he is included, but to me, I honestly just think that was a nod that the rebellion is not over. Like, things are just beginning. And that is where I'm gonna... Well, actually, hold on. I almost said we're gonna cut it out. Let's talk about the things we missed. And this was... this was the things I didn't catch on when I initially watched it. But when I reviewed it again, like, I cannot believe I was so clueless. But then again, like, this movie is done so well that you do miss these details. The fact that Kylo and Luke never touched during the battle at all. Their blades never clash. They physically never touch. And for the fact that when Kylo is fighting the entire time, red sand is flying up, and you it's just subtle details like that you don't notice. And the most blatant obvious fact is the blue lightsaber that was recently just destroyed in the battle with uh, Rey and Kylo. It's just little subtle things like that. That is what makes me applaud this movie. Now, here's something I actually wanted to talk about also. There's two things. First is, where is Luke's green lightsaber? Where is the iconic lightsaber that he uses in Return of the Jedi? The one that he personally makes and just brings down his father with. Like that is the sword I will always identify with Luke. Of course that I identify him with the blue, but for a lot of people, he is most recognizable with his green iconic lightsaber. Now, there are a few theories I have of what actually happened with it. One is that it ties a little bit with the movie. He's an old hermit on an island. He's disconnected with the Force. He no longer believes in the Jedi way or the Sith way for that matter. And he actually discarded the lightsaber. He discarded the one thing that connected him to the Jedi along with the Force. That is one of my theories. Now, the one I personally think, and I'm sure I'm totally wrong, but I personally think that maybe Rey has the saber. Maybe along with the books, they did not show that maybe Luke held on to his iconic saber and just tucked it away, having that one item just left from disconnecting with the Force that he could just hold on to and remember. And maybe she found it along with taking the books. That is just a theory. But that was a question that a lot of people had when after reviewing this scene a lot, is that where was his green lightsaber during this fight? Where, like, that would have been a perfect use of the saber, and especially during that scene. Now, the last and final topic I want to talk about is in a recent issue of Star Wars Insider, which is an actual canon Star Wars issue from Lucas. We learned that Supreme Leader Snoke had trained at least one other apprentice besides Kylo. Now, what this means for Episode 9 and all of canon with future books, comics, etc., it means so much because as we learn in the final fight with Kylo and Rey, he tried to bring Rey along. He honestly did. He said that he wanted to forget the Sith, he wanted to forget the Jedi and make his own new order and make it something different. Which I honestly thought Rey was going to turn at that point. Not only Kylo. I thought it was going to go both ways. But the fact that there's even mention of another apprentice, it just means, is Kylo gonna be the next emperor per se, because he is now the supreme leader, and will he have an apprentice along with Rey? Will Rey lead an apprentice or apprentices. Like, maybe she will start the new rebellion, and just, there's so much to question about episode 9, and I will make a video about that some other day. But that is going to be where I conclude this, and I hope you all have a great day. I will have another video up pretty soon following the Battlefront 2 future updates, and have a great day, you guys.